Mississippi and down in New Orleans, Louisiana. We've never seen snow like that this far south. So I know that we don't know how to act. Some are enjoying the white stuff that comes this way every once in a while, and others are locked in their homes, scared to death about how do you drive on this? What is this really for? You know, I remember as a boy growing up in the country in Farm Haven, Mississippi, whenever we got some snow, it wasn't going to be much, maybe 2 or 3 inches. And it wasn't going to last long, so we never really got any experience on how you build a snowman. But I do know this about that time. When I was rabbit hunting, it was so much fun because I could track the animals and the rabbits or the squirrels on the ground because I could see their footprint, and I knew he went this way. So whether I had a good dog with me or not, I had fun tracking a rabbit, and when I saw those prints in, I know he was in that bed nearby somewhere. But you know, Jerry Clower told us that we had to give everything a fighting chance. So I could not shoot a rabbit in the bed. It just wouldn't be inhumane. So I had to force the rabbit to get out the bed and run. Then I shot him. So that was the way it was back then, and the snow helped me do that. We don't do much rabbit hunting anymore.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee
I don't hear
today?
boys talking about going rabbit hunting or going squirrel hunting or going coon hunting or possum hunting or going fishing. I don't hear boys talking about that very much anymore. And it was the #1 pastime, hunting and fishing, for all boys in the country. So we had our favorite poles that we made ourselves. They didn't come from Bass Pro. We made them from the cane stalk, and they could be as long. You could have a 20-foot pole if you wanted to. You just go down there and find the right cane stalk, chop it down, run your line up through it, put your line on it, go out in the backyard somewhere and dig you up some red worms. Go to the pond, go to your favorite lake, and just fish all day. When you got tired of fishing, then you jumped in the pond and went for a swim. That's the way it was back in the old days. I won't say the good old days because I don't know if they were good or not, because these days are pretty good. If you have heat and you have clothing and you have plenty of food to eat and you're allowed to stay inside and out of the cold, I guess that would be some progress. But I don't know if it builds the kind of character and the kind of work ethics that the other way built. You know, I remember my daddy would tell me when it was ice on the ground and I would be shivering and I would be cold, and he would say, "Boy, if you went to work, you wouldn't be cold. All you got to do is go to work." And then I would look at him, and sometimes ice would be on the ground, and he would be stripped down to just his underwear. Cutting logs and pulpwood, ice didn't make any difference at all. It was 100 degrees in his body in the area that he was, because that's what work will do. You know, work's good for the soul. Work gives you a sense of self-esteem, self-pride, builds endurance, and it does all of those things that will contribute to your development and your mental prowess and your physical prowess as you grow older. So I recommend that we introduce those things to our kids today. Now, it's cold in Jackson, Mississippi. It was 14 degrees last night. Let me say that again, because we've not heard of any numbers like this. It was 14 degrees. Now, I know if you're in Chicago or you're up in Iowa somewhere, you may think that we're having a heat wave down here at 14. But for us, it's cold. And all of the pipes were freezing, and all of the roads were being frozen over. And you get this thing called black ice. You can't see it. And when you hit it, you can't control the vehicle. You have no idea which way it's going. And then the great decision comes once you hit the black ice as whether or not you're going to apply the brakes, or whether or not you're going to try to accelerate through it, or whether or not you're just going to try and let the car coast so that, you won't create a slipperier situation than you're already in. And many times you just have to ride it out. You just have to ride it out. You have to say, I'm the last cowboy standing, and I'm going to ride it out. And if you hit the embankment or the end of a bridge, then it wasn't a good day. But if you are lucky enough to survive it, then you said the next time I'll be better prepared. So this is Jackson, Mississippi in the wintertime. Fireplaces are seen, or smoke from the chimneys are seen everywhere in Jackson. Jackson used to be called Chimneyville in the first place. And that was before Grant came in here and burned it all down. He marched down here during the Civil War and destroyed all of the cities in the South. Jackson was called Chimneyville because there was nothing left but chimneys. But when he got over to a little city called Port Gibson, Mississippi, he said the town was too pretty to burn. And while Vicksburg called holy hell, Port Gibson was saved. And so, that's some of our history here in Mississippi in the wintertime, and a little history in regards to the Civil War. Now, what will we do? What will we do in Jackson, Mississippi, when the last time snow and ice came and the pipes froze? Our people in our city were without water for over 30 days. No drinking water, no potable water, no water for your bathrooms to bathe and for your pets and for the animals. No water, 30 days. And yet we survived. We maintained a good sense of humor. There was no rioting going on. There was nothing that we couldn't overcome together. So we helped one another. We poured up baskets and barrels of water and trucks of water, and we carried them door to door. I was proud to be a part of that. My company dispensed water all over South Jackson with 5,000-gallon tankers, and we poured that water into gallon jugs, quart jars, anything that someone showed up with, because we knew the desperate situation that we were in. Imagine not having water for that long. Now, this is Socrates Garrett. We're getting ready to go to a station break, and we want you to support our sponsors. Our sponsors are the lifeblood to what we do and what we will do in the future. So it's critically important that you listen up carefully, and we'll be right back after this commercial.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee. To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now.
Well, we're back. We're continuing our conversation this afternoon about Mississippi during this horrid weather that we're having, this cold spree that we're having. And I want to say to all our citizens here in Jackson, you have to protect your plants, and you have to protect your pets, and you have to protect your people. And, my prayers go out to the homeless population. We have a substantial homeless population, and 14 degrees is just too cold. It's inhumane for someone to be homeless and out there in this weather. So many of you out there have the ability to take someone in to save someone from being frostbitten, someone from being overcome by this cold weather, by just sharing with them, either in your homes or in your rental apartments or in your garage, in your sheds, in anything that will help them get out of the weather. It's critically important that we look out for our neighbors during this season. You know, this cold weather is rough. To the outdoor sportsman, I know that you are accustomed to going fishing out on the reservoir in Jackson, Mississippi during this time of year, and it's cold out there. I know you will brave the weather anyway. I remember my uncle taking me fishing up at Bee Lake, and we went up there and it was so cold, he had to break the ice to get the boat in the water. That's how committed he was to going fishing that day. I tell the guys and girls that work for me every day, I said, it does not rain in the Army. It rains on the Army. That's what they told me when I was first inducted into the United States Army in California. A Mississippi boy, all the way to California, thought I had missed the draft, graduated from college, and one day the MPs knocked on my door and said, "Young man, you've been called to serve in the Army." Boy, that was a sad day. I had no idea I was going to the Army, and I had no desires to go to the Army. But it was my civic duty. And I'm proud to have worn the green that the Army, we would go out in the woods and have to be gone for 3 or 4 weeks with eating rations and all kinds of things that we could find and kill. And when we get back to the barracks, I look over there at the Air Force, and they had shiny shoes. Their shoes were so black until they never, ever got dirty. That was the Air Force for you. But we were not, Air Force people, so our duty and responsibilities was different. I do recall, though, the one time that they asked me if I wanted to become airborne, if I wanted to jump out of a plane. I said, at what altitude are we talking about? It said 1,000 feet in the air. You want me to jump out of a plane? He said, yeah. I said, no, as far as I'm concerned, nothing comes out of the sky but bird shit and rain. So I'm not jumping today. I'm not jumping tomorrow. I don't even like heights today. I find it difficult just to be on the roof of a house. I just don't like heights. And so, you have to be qualified for those things. So when I see guys in these cranes and these towers, and they are up 500 feet in the air working on something, and I just said, not me. My legs would be shaking and quivering. I couldn't even stand up at that altitude. So we're all made different. I get that. We all have to be good at what we're supposed to be good with, and we ought to take advantage of the talents that the good Lord gave us. Don't waste your talents. Don't waste your talents. Remember what it said in the Bible when God gave the talents to the 3 soldiers. He gave one, and the next one 5, and the next one 10 or something like that. The one that didn't grow his talents, that buried it, said he was keeping it for the Lord till he came back, angered the Lord. He was angry because he didn't produce. He didn't grow it. If I gave you 1 and I come back, you ought to have 2. I used to tell my niece, Joy, all the time, that the only purpose of $1 is to get another $1. That's his sole purpose in life. It is not to be thought of in some way that says this got some value other than its ability to hunt. And what does it hunt for? Another $1. So there we have it. It's been good coming into your homes. We've been seen in over 139 countries all over the world. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. Enjoy our reels that we post on and clips that we post on Instagram. Enjoy the shorts that you'll find us over there on YouTube. We have some 2,000 plus videos over there, 2,000 plus subscribers that come into our studios each and every time we go live. It's great being back in the studio. I look forward to a wonderful 2025. This is Socrates Garrett Live. Until the next time, stay safe and good night.